So to initiate the event, please all welcome the Presidential Advisor for Entrepreneurship, Chair of the ASEAN Business Advisory Council of the Philippines, the founder of Go Negosyo, Mr. Joey Concepcion!
The last 14 years, Go Negosyo has been advocating that the way forward for our country to succeed is that no Filipino should be left behind. Digitalization is not only pro-all, but pro-poor. This is why the Alliance has come together with Go Negosyo, created this massive event called Sign Up.
Magnegosyo saan ka secure ng future mo, ikay laging ligtas. Delivery na mabilis, lalamove ng food so fast. Gusto mo laging kompleto, para mall at grocery. Bakit di ka maglasada o kaya ay mag-shopping?
2 years and 7 months na po ako sa angkas. Dati po akong restaurant manager ng isang fast food chain. 6 years po akong restaurant manager. Ang basic ko dati, nung restaurant manager ako ng isang fast food chain, 30 hanggang 35,000. Sa angkas, sa isang linggo lang, kaya kong kumita ng 10 to 12,000 a week.
Tambay mag-grab food ka, kahit anong menu ang gustuhin ay maiahatid niya. May nalimutan ka papeles, gamit at mga materyales.
Nag-start ako in 1 unit, isang sasakyan. Tapos sinamahan ko na sipag at tiyaga. Kasama lahat ng problema. 4 months ako tumira sa sakyan. Hanggang ngayon, may hawak na po ako ng 12 units. Meaning, isa na po akong operator.
Ito nang pinakahihintay, magnegosyo saan ka secure ng future mo, ikay laging ligtas.
Sa loob po ng 3 taon, una po kinikita ko lang sa sina sa 2,500 po. Ngayon po kumikita na po ako ng 15,000 pataas. A week po yon. Dati po, umaasa lang ako sa asawa ko na kung magkano lang ibigay. Ngayon po, kayang-kaya ko na pong tumayo sa sarili ko po. Yung 4 na anak ko po, yung 2 anak ko po, kaalis na po, pinagpaaral ko po sa National University, private po yun.
Saan ka secure ng future mo, ikay laging ligtas. Delivery na mabilis, lalamove ng food so fast.
Our shop would not be able to reach what we have right now without those mentoring, coaching sessions, the techniques that they are giving to become an effective seller. So, from a regular seller, we're able to achieve the goals, and every time na may goals kami, na ma-max out namin our target.
Nagsikap po ako na magmaniho, mag-drive sa Grab. So maraming opportunities. Makasama mo yung pamilya, no? Ng mas mahabang oras. Yung sasakyan ko po ngayon, more than 3 years na po. Nakakuha po kami ng sasakyan at nakakuha din po kami ng bahay sa Cavite. Kumikita ka na hawak mo yung oras. Dati po yung sahod ko sa isang company ay 16,000 a month. Yung iba, sumusobra pa.
Convey the message of the President. He is happy that you have attended the summit, and he sees a very good future for this economy, especially under the leadership of Mr. Joey Concepcion.
I have made a commitment in the last 14 years, and next year will be the 15th year of Go Negosyo. My mission is to help every Filipino out there succeed in life. But in the end, no matter what we do, we can only do so much to guide, teach, and mentor you. But in the end, it is your will, the right mindset that will propel you to success. And it has to be a teamwork. So So again, you can bank on us that we will not stop till every Filipino out there has a chance to succeed in life. Thank you.
Congratulations! Clear na si Musa, clear!
Let us all welcome on stage the Presidential Advisor for Entrepreneurship, founder of Go Negosyo, ladies and gentlemen, Chair of ASEAN Business Advisory Council, no other than Mr. Joey Concepcion.
Our efforts with this government, President Duterte, whose passion is to help the Filipino people move up in life, the private sector, together with DTI, DA, and DOT, are moving heaven and earth to really fulfill and help you fulfill your dream to become one of these successful entrepreneurs.
Ang government naman po, DTI, nandyan din ang DOST, Science and Technology. Pagdating mo sa mga product development, mga new R&D, discoveries, and mga research output ng DOST, pwede po ninyong gamitin. Kung ito po ay magpapabilis sa proseso ng inyong pag-weave or kahit anong produkto.
I felt really excited about being here. I thought the Philippines provided one very important aspect, which is it's a country that really gives you the ability to live with purpose, that whatever you do has an impact beyond just money.
Let's talk about legacy.
And a legacy to me is about giving a contribution, not a recognition.
Every day you create your legacy.
I had my standards of excellence that I wanted the people to live up to. And that motivation came from my desire to be able to inspire my audience. There's a real emotional engagement that I kept alive with my audience. And yeah, if you can call that part of my legacy, then yeah, it is.
Supportive community. So hanapin niyo yun sa buhay niyo, someone who can guide you, a mentor. A woman community, a woman chat group.
Lahat po kami takot. Walang tao dito na walang anxiety. And I think what nakakatulong yung magpe-prepare ka talaga. Be the best you can be, learn as much as you can. Nakakatulong sa akin is when I recite scripture to myself.
I think that the fear actually should just empower you.
We are happy to report that after 6 months in office, ay mayroon marami na kaming bagong programa para sa millennials, para sa kababaihan, para sa mga gustong mag-farming at mag-agri-negosyo. So palakpakan natin si Joey Concepcion at talaga naman Go Negosyo is one of the best in terms of advocating, promoting entrepreneurship in this country.
This is our next forum, Women
of the World.
Being a woman of the world is really trying to find a solution to problems that are happening not just here locally, but also globally.
In my business, I just don't want to encourage women to be beautiful on the outside, but I also want to encourage women to be beautiful on the inside.
First, it started a belief in yourself and set goals for yourself. Challenge yourself to achieve things that you don't think is achievable, but you need to put that goal there.
Sa screen. Lost ka. Kahit isa. Live na po. No live. Good. Hello everyone. Okay, so magandang hapon. We're now live. At hi itong mga negosyantes natin ngayon. At I'm your Go Negosyo mentor, Paulo Tibig, ang magiging moderator for the day. And welcome to Go Negosyo's Mentor Me Online. Alam nyo, ito yung free negosyo mentorship natin na programa to help and assist our aspiring at existing MSMEs to scale up their business at mapapanood niyo po ito ng libre, no? Yung Mentor Me Online araw-araw mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, tuwing alas 11 yung ating session sa umaga at alas 3 katulad ngayon ng hapon. So araw-araw 'yan. So siguro i-recap lang natin previous episodes earlier, yung spotting business opportunities, kasama rin dito yung time of crisis, kasama natin yung ating mga ibang Go Negosyo mentor na sila Butch Salvador, Carlo Cadimon at Ray Calooy. So, magtanong, matuto at manalo. Tumutok sa Mentor Me Online Facebook live stream ng Go Negosyo at magtanong sa aming mga Go Negosyo mentors sa comment section. Halimbawa, si Shine Soteo ng Quezon City, ang tanong niya, yon, ganun lang kasimple, tapos i-like at i-share ang aming Facebook live stream sa inyong Facebook accounts, maaring manalo na ng free book mula sa Go Negosyo. Abangan ang listahan ng weekly winners sa aming Facebook page. At mag-comment ng inyong mga mensahe at mga aral na natutunan mula sa ating mga Go Negosyo mentors. Maaari kayong magkaroon ng chance na ma-feature also sa ating Go Negosyo comment of the day. Use the hashtag Mentor Me Online, hashtag Free Negosyo Mentorship. Okay. So, Pwede na tayo siguro, diretso na natin yung forum ngayong hapon na to. We will talk about logistics management at makakasama natin sa ngayong session ang mga go-negosyo mentors at mga kaibigan natin na resource speakers mula sa LBC Express, si Sir Richard Strollo, VP ng Supply Chain ng LBC Express. Hello, Richard.
Thank you, Paulo. Great to be here.
Yeah, and then we have Dennis Nang, CEO ng Mover Philippines. Magandang hapon, Dennis.
Yeah, magandang hapon. Thank you for having me here.
Good afternoon, Dennis. And lastly, we have Martin Koo, country head ng Ninja Band. Hi, Martin.
Hi, Paulo. Thanks for having me.
Right. So, good afternoon, gentlemen. Siguro, we just wanted to hear each and every one about your company. What do you do at this point? So, our viewers will have the idea, basically, of your companies. Can we start with Richard? Say something about LBC and so on. And stuff.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think everybody knows LBC. I think what we're doing now, I think people want to hear what we're doing in the market with all the concerns around COVID virus. So we're spending a lot of time looking at our operations and communicating with our customers. As you can imagine, the last few weeks have been quite challenging, and we're very customer centric and also staff centric. So we're taking a lot of steps. We could talk about those later on what we're doing to keep our facilities clean, make sure our staff are healthy, and we're able to move as many shipments as we can during this difficult period to support everyone in the Philippines.
Good to hear that, Richard. Good to hear that. Okay, Dennis, can you say something about Mover?
Yeah, well, honestly, we're greatly affected because we're the number one on-demand delivery for appliances and furniture. So, but since this industry is not the priority now, so we have to be very flexible. So we have to make sure that Mowbray can adapt to any changes, especially at this time. Mowbray has been delivering fresh produce now. We have to adapt now.
Martin, can you say something about Ninja?
Sure. So Ninja Van is a technology-enabled logistics platform. We specialize mainly in e-commerce deliveries. Our entire network is backed by an ecosystem of apps and push-based logistics software that we deploy on a nationwide basis. We operate across about 95% of the country. And obviously, like the two gentlemen that just spoke before me, we've been greatly affected by this issue. But we're excited to share how we've redeployed this technology and have retooled this business to adapt to the COVID environment.
All right. Viewers, iba yung platform natin ang dinig ngayon. Basically, isa lang yung principle that we need to bring the goods, the shipments from point A to point B. Ayan. Okay, guys, gentlemen, I think we just need to start with the question. We have so many questions in store for you. First question would be, what are the challenges your businesses is facing amidst the COVID-19 at this point, and how do you respond or cope with the situation? Anyone from the three gentlemen who would like to start with the first question?
Okay.
Am I coming clear?
Yes,
Richard,
yes.
Martin,
Yes.
malinaw naman. All right.
Malinaw. Okay, let me start. Well, really affected kami sa Mowbray, no? Kaya lang, ang ginagawa namin sa Mowbray ngayon is we try to look for another opportunities. No? Sabi ko nga, affected yung appliance and furniture deliveries namin. So since we're startup, we're agile and we're very flexible, so we have to adapt to the situation. No? Maraming nagtawag sa amin na kung gusto namin mag-deliver ng mga vegetable, ng mga frozen food. Dati ayaw namin ganun kasi nga hindi namin alam yung negosyo ngayon, but because of the situation we need to learn, no? And we found out that instead of motorcycle, nagugustuhan na ng ibang kliyente natin na dating gumagamit ng motorcycle, i-consolidate na lang yung buong delivery nila sa isang van, and it becomes cheaper, no? So despite of itong situation na to, we were trying to learn, no? There's a lot of things that we need to learn and adapt.
Okay, so basically for Mober at this point, parang previously yung nga sabi mo, we don't handle kunyari mga perishable, but given with the situation right now, parang it's one good way and also opportunity for you guys na to cater sats, right?
Yes.
Aside from syempre yung nami-meet yung requirements ng ating mga kababayan at this point, given with the situation.
Yes.
Tama no, Dennis?
Tama.
Martin, anything about it? How do you respond to the situation?
Sure. I think obviously, I think all the businesses here before you have been dramatically affected by this, right? I think there are three key areas where I see NinjaVan being most greatly affected. The first is simply mobility and access, obviously with the implementation of checkpoints and additional security, both at the national level as well as kind of differing implementation at the LGU level. It has made access challenging, and it has been something where we've had to lean on people more than we're used to, lean on the local area knowledge of our riders, lean on diplomacy and interacting with LGUs as well. And ultimately, the business is growing stronger and more knowledgeable about how to navigate in this new environment. The second area, I think, would be the elimination of non-essential deliveries by the IATF. Obviously, in the best interest of the community, the IATF has limited the kinds of goods that should be transiting, which I think is quite understandable in this climate. But unfortunately, our business does support logistics on behalf of thousands of social commerce sellers, online sellers who do this either as a hobby, as a supplementary income, or as a main business. And one of the areas that we've had to focus is how can we help these guys with sourcing? How can we help re-enable this new supply chain, help them pivot their businesses towards carrying essentials, as well as identifying new businesses and new clients that we can serve. Finally, and potentially most fundamentally, the health and safety aspect of operating in this climate is of the utmost importance. I think we wouldn't be comfortable putting our bikes on the road without ensuring the safety of our team, nor would we be comfortable delivering to consignees if we couldn't guarantee their safety. So we had to take some time. The business actually went fully offline for some time while we fully retooled our processes and sourced out for PPE to protect our teams. So I would say those are the three areas.
Especially that the couriers or the frontliners are basically with us also. They were exposed to so many possibilities of getting infected also outside, right, Martin?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And it's totally unpredictable on the road at the moment.
Right. Good. Richard, can you say something about it? How LBC is now coping with the current situation?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's similar to the other two gentlemen. I think there's a couple issues, there are a couple challenges we're grappling with. I think first and foremost is simply the mobility, right? We touched on the LGUs and some of the challenges we've had there in terms of the roadblocks and at least initially some, I guess, misunderstandings about which goods can come through and could not. So I think initially in the early days, that was one of the bigger challenges, which is, again, we've put that right, a lot of discussions, and it's gotten much smoother. I think the same thing it really comes down to, again, is the staff. And we think really about the safety of the teams. And now with basically a complete shutdown of the public transportation system, and we look out at the operations and see what do we deem essential. We've laid on some shuttles to help cope with those aspects. And then I think just in a general sense, I mean, I think just the actual business impact, right? I think just besides everything else is the business impact. So we've activated our business continuity plans and we have executive calls every day. It's a very fluid situation, as I'm sure the gentleman would agree. So every day there's new challenges or things come up, and the different things that we're trying collectively as an organization to overcome and make sure the teams are safe, and then we're able to deliver in a safe manner.
Right. I think the government policy about with regards to with LGU, with all the checkpoints and blockages, I think it's one of the major problem at this point being challenged by the logistics practitioner. We're in different LGU has different approach and implementation way of getting the goods flow freely all over, and I think sooner it will be resolved. And what would make it best for logistics, for the goods to flow smoothly, would be a uniform and unified way in handling this matter by LGU, and that's a good point, everyone. Okay. Now, can I make the second question with you guys? Martin, probably you can start with this. With the sudden crisis and how how did it affect your business operations in logistics, and how did you smartly respond to it?
Sure. Yeah, I think, as I mentioned earlier, it was quite shocking. First of all, when this happened, and I don't think anyone was expecting the situation to accelerate as aggressively or as comprehensively as it did. So, I'll admit we were caught somewhat off guard, and even our most thorough disaster plans couldn't account for such an extreme spread of the virus. So unfortunately, the business did go offline for some time, about a week and a half, where we took stock as a management organization and tried to understand how we could better prepare and protect our teams. I think what I'm proud to share now at this stage is there is a new version of Ninja Van that's running as of the last couple of days. One that involves a fully contactless standard operating procedure. So we're able to fully retool our processes within our facilities to be more socially distanced. Secondly, at the point of transaction with the consumer, we've eliminated any kind of direct personal contact, and you've even had to develop technology solutions to back this. So, for example, one of these key elements had been gathering signatures from our clients, but to eliminate the use of paper, we've done so on the handset or cell phone of our riders, where a consignee would sign their signature on the screen. This was a big risk for our riders, given they interact with 50 to 100 people per day, depending on the area. So as a result, we built in some photo taking capabilities where we can now verify the authenticity of a delivery transaction by taking a photo at the point of delivery. Does someone else want to step in and address the question as well?
Oh yeah, I think I agree with you. It was completely unexpected how this came about, and the same thing. And in terms of having business continuity plans, I don't think anybody can pull out a page where, for a couple days initially, the business is almost stopped in a way. Yeah. So similar thing. We have similar issues with the deliveries where people don't want to touch the pen, so we're trying to work around things like that as well. There's a big concern in that area. But again, I think, like we talked about earlier, there's also the flexibility, and every day trying to understand where we're going. I would say to a certain degree within organization, we've I wouldn't say business as usual. That's probably too strong of a word, but I think a stabilization, which I'm sure you guys have seen as well, where a lot of these unknowns have kind of settled down. The teams have collectively, we figured out from the leadership standpoint, and the teams have kind of settled into a certain way in terms of skeletal force and just going through and continuing on with the business. But I think the flexibility is also part of that as well.
Yeah, for Mobile, when they started the lockdown, we started asking all our drivers. We asked them if they want to go out and they still want to deliver. So we don't force them. If they want to do it, then sige, they can do it. But we made sure that they are all protected. We gave them masks. We gave them gloves, something like this one. Well, as far as Mobile is concerned, because when we deliver, we only deliver the last mile. We don't need them to sign anything else. We just took photo of the delivery. Then that's more than enough for a proof of delivery.
Okay, I'm back, everyone. Bumalik na ulit ako.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way pala, marami nagre-request sa atin na Martin, I know baka difficult for you, and Richard, if you can do some Filipino daw language or Taglish would be okay para sa mga viewers natin. Is that okay, Martin and Richard? Anything that you can say in Tagalog siguro would be fine.
Sige po. Sige po.
I like that. Sige po. All right. Sige. Next question, everyone. Maraming listeners tayo at viewers na nakikinig ngayon. Now, the next question would be, are there any urgent demands that made the bold development with your business model in order to address the needed service during this trying time? So, meron daw bang mga naging bold development that you did? Of course, we have heard about, for example, in signing of the delivery, di ba? Meron mga ganyan. In your operation, the business model, meron bang tinweak o meron bang binago for that matter? Anyone, guys, who would like to start with a question?
Sure. I think wouldn't say bold development or bold changes, but I think it was really sticking with what we know best. And of course, there's a lot of operational rationalization. There's a lot of process rationalization as we've worked through this process over the last 2 weeks and gotten smarter about it. But I think from our perspective, we have branches all over the nation. We're a very well-known brand here, so we trust the model and everything. And it was certain scenarios where we require something to do different, we could do that, right? Like I said, maybe we rationalize things. Maybe with one of the branches, we arrange certain areas are closed, so we arrange maybe a secondary pickup location and things of that respect. But I think it was just for us, it was just working through, having the teams there, the flexibility, all the knowledge we have, working through the process. Keeping, again, it's the same thing for us, is keeping the staff safe and making sure we can deliver the package in as best a timely manner as we can, given the circumstances.
Though there will be a lot of delays at this point, and there's a lot of flights that have not been taken, di ba? Maraming flights na hindi pwede, very limited. And I think all of us, Martin especially, and Richard, di ba, nararamdaman natin. Same thing with Dennis, di ba? Parang nag-iiba yung model, di ba? Parang ano yung pwedeng i-adapt, di ba? At this point, parang it gives us way to think and get it innovatively. Tama ba, Dennis?
Yeah. Before mag-lockdown, Mober has this plan of helping our drivers. No? Usually, these drivers are living on a paycheck to paycheck. No? May operator siya, tapos si operator nagpapasweldo sa driver. No? So kaya kung minsan, sa sobrang mababa na masyado ang delivery fee, kawawa din yung mga driver. So kaya yung mga driver ata natin, palipat-lipat. No? Kung minsan, lilipat dito, maya wala kang driver. So these are one of the challenges that we're experiencing na parati kaming walang makuhang driver o yung partner namin walang driver. No? So because of this COVID, what's happening now, I realized that maybe this is about time for the driver, to help the driver to become a driverpreneur. No? So mahirap maging empleyado ngayon kasi vulnerable sila ngayon, no? Pwede silang tanggalin kasi wala nang negosyo. Pero kung sarili nila yung sasakyan nila, at the same time, oras nila yon, no? I mean, timing, So sa Mober, we're trying to help our driver to own their own van. No? They just pay as a boundary every day. Then eventually sa kanila yung sasakyan. No? So para wala na silang amo.
Hindi ganun kabigat yung hindi mawala ng kita. Tama ba, Dennis? Ano?
Oo, kasi sa ngayon na nangyayari, hindi na din natin maisisisi yung mga employer din, di ba? Kasi wala din naman negosyo sila. No?
Kaya,
so tapos
kung sa kanila, kahit papaano, kung magkaroon ng booking, at least, di ba, meron sila pa rin kahit papaano. Hindi yung nakasalalay lamang dun sa
sahod.
Yung sa sahod. Tama. So ito yung mga isang nakikita natin na bold move at this point, di ba?
Yeah. Dati nagdadalawang isip ako kung gagawin ko o hindi pa. No? Pero I think tama-tama ito. No? Moving forward, pag-bounce back natin, ito na dapat ang papuntahan.
Yeah. Martin, I'm sure ang laki ng effects sa Express, no, sa e-commerce business ng Ninja Van. And we know for a fact that daily, di ba, parang siguro, if I may say, tons of tama ba, Martin, of shipments that you have, di ba, for Ninja Van. Variety of things from small items to parcel and so on. And given with this, syempre, yung bold move na ginawa ninyo, given that yung major challenge would be yung airlines natin, very limited ang flight, then definitely by land talagang very challenging yung nasa daan tayo. What basically ang ginawa ng Ninja Van for this?
So you think, first of all, the first way that we tried to respond to these urgent demands, or rather the most urgent demand that we observed was that of our frontliners. No? And the team actively tried to find opportunities. I'm really proud of my team on the ground for bringing these opportunities up to us at the management level and requesting to be able to help, to volunteer their own time, to volunteer their use of their vehicles to support specific movements. No? So we were able to work with the Office of the Vice President, for instance, to help deliver the initial batch of testing kits to the RATM. Secondly, we worked with the Pasig LGU and other LGUs in delivery of both relief goods as well as the the mobility vehicles, bicycles specifically, on behalf of our frontliners. So I think this was the first area that you saw quite a dramatic change. We're not used to using our vehicles for some of these jobs, not the kind of job we normally participate in, but ultimately we felt the need was very dire here. As far as how the business has evolved or how we try to respond as a company, I think a couple of things I'd highlight. Just in terms of keeping the business running, as you mentioned, Paulo, airlines all being offline is something foreign to us. As an express freight provider, we were used to speed. And we had to create the longest haul truck networks that we've ever had to operate, right? Finding ways to navigate the port closures and ferry routes, essentially driving trucks all the way from Manila as far south as the most far-flung parts of Mindanao. Secondly, what I would highlight is looking at sort of these new business opportunities that have emerged, new needs that have emerged. I think Philippines is still a very retail-driven culture. People are very, very much used to going to the mall. It's part of our daily commute or our daily livelihoods. And with all of this being closed, you should see more people transitioning towards e-commerce in the future. But right now, that use case is restricted to essential goods. So grocery is a e-commerce use case that we're seeing is extremely stressed. Some of the big marketplaces like Shopee and Lazada have already begun to respond by enriching their listings. And we're taking sort of a parallel approach of hoping to enable more of an analog retail outlet to now do direct-to-consumer deliveries. So we're very excited to announce some more efforts next week, but you should see Ninja Van participating more broadly in the delivery of essential goods.
I think yung nabanggit ni Martin, no, parang before, I'm sure Dennis and Richard will agree with this, na dati-dati, tama yun, we're used to malls, going to mall, ganyan tayo, mag-grocery tayo, bibili tayo ng gamit, puro mall. And lately, yung adaptability of Filipinos doon sa e-commerce, although nandun na siya, it's rising, I'm sure you'd agree with this, it's thriving. In fact, given yung negosyo, yung business nga na that we see in the logistics, integral part siya. In other countries, alam naman natin na it's the platform now na ginagamit talaga. And I hope na sooner, given with this, if there's one positive aspect na nangyayari ngayon, the situation, is yung mindset of Filipino that to get yung mobility or yung convenience concept will now be a very good come into play with us dito sa bansa. Remember yung e-commerce. Ngayon, at least more or less tinatanggap na, diba? We're not used to it before, but given with the situation, at least probably in the last 3 weeks, parang ito na yung tinitingnan. And I think it could be the changing norm. It may be the new normal in the next weeks and months to come. Do you agree with that, everyone? Richard?
Definitely agree with that comment, Paulo. And I think you use the phrase "new normal." I think we're all still waiting to see what that would look like. But yeah, I definitely
not normal, but just new normal,
whatever that could be. No, and I definitely think we can see a lot of this, and if you follow the news nationally and globally, I think for all of us, none of us living have ever seen something like this before, right? In living memory. So it's quite interesting. And how will people's habits really change, right? Will people change how they order food? How will all that, like you mentioned, e-commerce, the final mile, how will all that experience change things, right? How, just anecdotal, I was talking to somebody the other day, a friend who owns restaurants, and I said, of course, the concern is how is it going, right? That everything's closed. He said, I'm okay. They've released my rent. And he said, basically one branch that does the takeout carries the payroll of the entire organization, albeit small. But I think we're starting to see those kind of things come up where the public at large may be born of a demand, of an absolute demand, but we'll see some consumer patterns change, and those things will stay, right? People get used to the convenience, the ease of it, the speed of it. And I think we'll see fundamental changes in those areas.
Right. I think yung convenience concept, I think that's one. Wherein the goods that you want will be delivered right doon na sa doorstep natin. Tama, di ba, guys? All right. Yeah. Okay. So, susunod na tanong, alam nyo, ang daming viewers natin. If I may say, even France, we have viewers ngayon. Meron tayo all over the Philippines. Ay, ang dami. From Zamboanga, Marinduque, Mandaluyong, O meron tayo from Rizal, Bulacan. All of them are now watching us live. Okay, sige, next question. Given the nature of work, alam naman natin, logistics, sabi nga natin, frontliner tayo in a way, not just our doctors, hindi lamang tong ating mga nurses, yung mga nasa grocery attendants natin, nasa bangko, and one of the industry na yung sector na talagang nasa frontline din is the logistics industry. So given with this nature, para ma-continue yung operations in our businesses, how did your management or help employees to ensure that yung safety o yung risk is syempre mitigated or eliminated? Paano daw ang ginagawa natin with that? Yun yung susunod na tanong. Anyone? Martin or Dennis?
Sure. Can jump in and start off here. So I think as far as how we as a management team responded, again, I think the stoppage was one of the hardest decisions we had to make as a company to not continue to just drive forward and continue to deliver without feeling really confident about the nature of operations that we were running. Ultimately, not running operations means that this business doesn't generate revenue. So for some time, that was a tough pill to swallow. But again, I feel good about this decision now, having taken that time to develop these contactless SOPs. I feel confident about the nature of the operations that we're operating today and the way that we're asking our teams to exist in the field. I saw a question about COD here in the chat flash by a second ago. And honestly, this is a huge part of the e-commerce industry here, right? We're a 90% cash market, and COD is absolutely integral to how we buy online today. So as you guys can imagine, developing a contactless SOP for COD or a contact minimization SOP for COD was one of the most challenging components. And that's to say nothing of the disruption that happened downstream to our depository networks, through pawn shops, through banks that are running with limited staff, limited operating hours. So ultimately, again, I think our obligation to employees is to provide a safe working environment, as Richard has continuously reinforced, and that's something that we take very, very seriously, and we want to make sure extends to all sides of the equations, to our shippers and to our consignees as well.
Right, Dennis.
Yeah. Well, as far as mobile is concerned, basically we're doing the basic precaution. We ask them to wear masks. We ask them to wear gloves. Then there's social distancing. We also leave deliveries sa front door. Pero kadalasan ng delivery namin sa condo, sa lobby na lang iniiwan, or sa mga villages. So guardhouse na lang iniiwan.
Nililesen yung engagement sa tao. Nililesen.
Yes. Probably para sa akin, ngayon lang to, because of the situation. But if we look forward, I've asked a friend who's selling fresh vegetable online, sabi ko sa kanya, do you think that the demand now will be sustained after itong lockdown? Sabi ko sa kanya, well, he's very positive na yung habit na pagkatapos ng lockdown, yung mag-shop online ng vegetable or ng anything else will be continued. So in this case, I think okay, I think it's okay for small, medium enterprises, because kung nasanay na tayo bumili ng online, then kahit yung mga maliliit na negosyante, pwede na sila makapagnegosyo sa online. Hindi na nila kailangan magkaroon ng sariling tindahan.
Okay. I'll shoot this question, Richard. Probably this is for you, and any from the three of gentlemen here. Just one question from our viewer, coming from Cherilyn Ngo. For all logistics company out there, if I may say, how do you deal with being short-handed, like if your riders or messengers are absent, or long-term no longer going to work, yet so many orders, especially people depend on deliveries?
Yeah, good question.
Clear, Richard? Clear?
Yeah, sure, I can start with that. I think well, we have a couple programs internally to have interest for people to come in, but again, there's always that balance, right? There's always the balance of having people come in and the social distancing and everything, and the way we work in our hubs and our operations. We need to make sure you have enough space. But I think one of the things in certain parts of the business, we've actually seen a comparable volume drop in a way. Yeah, you could use a number, but whatever, 30-40%, some of those range depending. So from that standpoint, like I said earlier, we've gotten the shuttles. We're trying to bring people in because there is no public transportation. So what I think from our view, I think the volumes that we're now having and we're trying to continue to deliver, I think the teams that we have in place, it's kind of a fairly good match. I mean, I think to broaden the question, which I'm sure the other gentleman can echo, it's some of the areas where the LGUs have their own interpretation of what a lockdown means. And there's certain areas where we're simply not able to get into. We've had situations on a RoRo where they wouldn't let the driver off at the destination or actually they wouldn't let the driver get on. So the goods had to go unattended, and then come off, and then we had to get somebody from other sides to pick them up. So it's those kind of challenges where we're trying to move through. But I think the staffing we're pretty much where that needs to be. I think it's a challenge of some of the areas that are completely locked down. It's very difficult for us to work around those situations. We want to obviously work with the LGUs and follow the laws.
Right. Martin, for you, do you have skeletal force in the hub at this point? Working 24 hours pa rin ba? Or ng question, hindi tuloy pa rin natin serve yung requirements ng ating mga shippers.
No, absolutely right. And I think, first of all, what we've seen is we've had to become more efficient with the resourcing that we do have the luxury of enjoying every day, right? Those guys that are willing to report. We've transitioned to a fully voluntary workforce. So at this stage, anyone who's uncomfortable working, including with the PPE measures and additional safety measures that we've taken, of course, we want to be able to ensure some degree of job security and confidence on behalf of the teams on the ground. So that's first and foremost. And my deepest thanks goes out to those employees, those members of our team that have come in first, that have been those first guys leading the charge, the heroes that we have on the ground and on the front lines, right? I think that to address the second piece which is how do you make do with this diminished capacity? I think that's where technology plays a big role for us. So we've always had the luxury of our business being kind of wrapped around technology and the digitization of information. So even in terms of how we deal with addresses, we do look at this from a digitization perspective that allows us to make smarter decisions in terms of which parcels to prioritize. So ultimately, more density, the more parcels closer together, the more productive that we can be. And in that way, we leverage on our technology to help us make better decisions about where to deploy our manpower every day, and therefore get optimal productivity out of the resources that we do have reporting on any given day.
Right. Dennis?
Yeah. Well, kami sa Mover, we just choose kung sino gusto namin i-serve sa ngayon because we're having skeletal team, no? Even getting clients. I know there are so many backlogs of deliveries now, and we're getting a lot of inquiries every day. So it's so tempting na kumuha ng clients, pero at the end of the day, ang gusto namin mangyari, quality pa rin yung service namin. No? Kung ano lang yung kaya namin i-deliver, ano lang kaya namin i-serve, yun lang ang kinukuha namin. Because we have to look forward into the future also na pagkatapos itong lockdown, we want that client na mag-stay sa amin, no? The stickiness of the client. No? Kaysa kunin namin lahat, tapos hindi naman namin ma-fulfill, well, sayang din ang effort namin. So that's our principle sa mobile.
So at least based on the skeleton that you have, parang maintain what is existing, wherein i-prioritize given these are your major client, for example. Tama, di ba?
Yes.
And remember, it's not just about today ang tinitingnan natin, also yung paglabas nga naman o pagkatapos na rin yan.
Yes.
Good for you. All right. Sige, ito yung isang tanong, no? Ano daw process or system sa operations ninyo yung nakikita nyo very at risk? So, any process or system in your operation that is really at risk at this point, given with the COVID? Probably it's the in your day-to-day work in the hub or in the field. So, for you guys, ano yung parang very risky na parang tinatamaan o nahihit na proseso or system that you have in your business operations right now? Richard?
Okay. Yeah, I think it's, when we talk about at risk, I think it's just if I understand the question correctly, it's just the ability to be able to deliver the shipments, right? I think it's the processes, we've made some adjustments. I think there's robustness there. I think it's just from an operational standpoint, in terms of the skeletal staffing, in terms of social distancing, the PPE, and getting enough of the teams in that want to come in, and it's the operational aspects of being able to simply to deliver the goods. I think that's where the challenge, and that's, you know, whether on the motorcycles, the trucks, the hubs, even within the warehouses, which are the areas I look after. So I think really for me, it comes down mostly to an operational standpoint. That's where I see some of the biggest risks, because it's the final output, the final mile. It becomes quite challenging with all the the necessary lockdowns and roadblocks.
Okay, Dennis?
Well, sa amin sa Mover, wala kaming masyadong issue sa ganun, no? Because as I mentioned a while ago, we're very picky now with what we want to deliver. So yeah.
Martin, what in your business operation is the risky because of this crisis? I mean, things that will really be affected.
Sorry. So I think really two again kind of sides to this, right? One is business risk, the other is human risk. To address the human risk aspect, we've all spoken at length about health and safety, and I think for everyone on the panel today, the safety of our employees is at the forefront here. I think we've all taken significant steps to deploy, again, protective equipment, revise our operating procedures to ensure that we're operating in a more safe environment and one where our employees feel comfortable, and that's quite fundamental. I don't think it can be repeated enough. Ultimately, that being said, I believe we provide an essential service here. Everyone on the panel, again, providing an essential service in helping people remain connected throughout this crisis, right? And helping the economy to run in some shape or capacity. I think every delivery that we do has the potential to keep one family indoors and solve a particular commercial need that this person had at some point that would have forced them to go outside. So I think, our riders that are reporting are responding to that call to the importance of this on behalf of the market and behalf of the community, right? As far as business risk, we have to adapt, right? And I think that makes, I think that's interpreted for me in both how we operate, ensuring that we're operating efficiently, leveraging on our technology to make better, more intelligent, more efficient decisions. And secondly, to staying open to new business types. And, I really applaud my team for being dynamic and standing up these new products. We don't normally do same-day deliveries, for example, but from next week onwards, we're going to be doing same-day delivery for groceries because we see it as being a big need. And we've had to find ways to enable modular components of our technology in order for that experience to be as strong as our core last mile service.
Yun sasabi nga natin, logistics is always an integral part of any value chain, correct, di ba? Whether it's B2B, business to business, or B2C, business to consumer, nandun lagi. Hindi mawawala yung logistics, very integral siya. Napaka-critical kasi imagine natin just for the last 2 weeks, and yung effect niya pag hindi siya naging maayos. And I think ito yung that gives us more the confidence dun sa ginagawa natin. We're helping people also, we're helping businesses. Di ba? Yun ang magandang aspeto, positive note about it. Okay, I'm sure itong susunod na tanong, napakaganda nito, and this is about business continuity plan. So, what do you think can be developed as part of the business continuity plan? Maybe for some, it's recovery, di ba? For some, parang while we have this crisis at this point, how do we continue? Any kumbaga, is LBC, Ninja Van, or Mover, meron ba kayo na i-set up na or develop na that can be adapted also and can be a very good reference and benchmark also sa mga negosyantes natin dito sa Pilipinas about business continuity plan?
Okay. Well, kami sa Mover, no? Ang advantage namin kasi startup kami, madali kami mag-adjust, mag-adapt, no? Well, in fact, we're launching an online store not because we want to do it to make revenue, but we want to help our driver, to make more money. We're launching moberfresh.com. It's a vegetable delivery and grocery delivery. Kasi marami kaming clients na gusto magpa-deliver pero hindi nila afford yung malalayong delivery ngayon. So we tried to consolidate things, and we came out to this idea, paano kung magbenta na rin tayo ng prutas, ng vegetable, ng supermarket, i-consolidate namin lahat ng kliyente namin so that pag pumunta kami sa kanila, dun namin orderin, then at the same time, i-deliver namin. So makakatipid ng delivery. Ito yung mga maliliit na fruits and vegetable owner na sabi ko, wag na kayong magsayang gumastos na mag-ads. Kami na mag-ads para sa inyo. Kami na rin magdi-deliver. So I think we'll try this. Wala naman mawawala sa amin. And hoping that after the lockdown, we can continue doing this, but not as our core business, but also to support our logistic partners.
Parang ano yan parang tinatanggal mo na yung middleman o trader. Para, di ba, parang yung farmer o yung supplier, sila na yung mas maganda yung kikitain nila kasi nawala yung patong, kumbaga, ng trade. And then para naman sa consumer, mas mapapamura.
Yeah.
Tama din?
Yeah.
So in a way, parang yun yung konsepto. Parang direct to farm to market na diretso, parang ganyan ang dating.
Parang ganun dating. At the same time, we're solving our logistic issue here, because if we pick up 1 or 2 lang sa isang provider, ang mahal So if we can help them sell, doon na namin kukunin, then mapupuno namin yung van namin. Mas mura yun.
Richard, business continuity plan?
I think a couple things before we get to LBC. I think just from a mentoring standpoint is when companies are putting together a business continuity plan. I think the main thing is to think in a really open, honest manner, and we look at your operations and review your operations and have some robustness around it. I think one of the questions I always ask my teams as we've developed them over the years is always ask what if, and always assume the worst possible thing will go wrong at the worst possible moment. So I think to really work into that respect, and although this COVID is something completely different, but to have that kind of thought process to go into it, scenario 1, 2 or 3 options, and challenge those options with a certain level of robustness, and to work it through that way, and to do the teams and your shareholders as that justice in a way, and also don't forget to tabletop these things, right? A lot of times we put them in a book or something, and again, from a mentoring perspective, to run through this and see it, right? Because then you can start to work out some of the bumps. So I think bringing it back to LBC, like I said, we've activated. Obviously, we don't have a BCP that stops business like it's happened, but like I said, we have the daily calls with our senior teams, and we're very flexible. We're very open. We've got everything quite moving in a good direction. And I think I saw some of the comments come through. They asked about what about after, right? How do things look? And I think, to a certain degree, we're moving on that aspect as well, because this is, as dramatic and as horrifying as this is, and the human aspect of it, let's not forget, this will pass in some way. And how do we, again, back to the community, how do we do those things to be able to deliver in a more meaningful way? I think Martin had a great comment about every package we deliver keeps at least a person coming out, off the street or something to get something to fulfill a need. So we're spending a fair amount of time within the organization at the senior team looking already, what's the next steps? How do we start to bring this back up in a manageable way? Again, back to the safety of the staff, and also with the view to our customers to get things moving in a certain way again.
All right. Martin, on BCP?
Obviously less experience, I think, than my colleagues here on the panel with me, but I can share with you in terms of how we've reacted as a young startup. Having been in this market just for a couple of years, I started Ninja Van here in the Philippines about 4 years ago, and I think, as Richard rightly mentioned, this is sort of unthinkable to me, right? Even in startup land, and even thinking about the worst case scenarios, I never thought about a scenario where our business just maybe didn't make sense in the current form that it did, that we're used to operating, at least. The first thing we had to look at was financials, to be honest. For a business like ourselves, survival is not guaranteed. And we had to look at really what can we support? How can we slow the heart rate of the business down, essentially, to minimize our burn rate and ensure that There is a company for people to continue to work at for the next weeks and for the next months to come. And when things do begin to normalize, that Ninja Van will continue to play, right? Ultimately, I think your aggressiveness in terms of how you invest around this, requires some courage, to be honest, and some desire to come out of this in the same capacity you entered it. We've worked hard over the last 4 years. My team has bled over the last 4 years to get this business to where it is today in terms of coverage and capability. And this became a fundamental principle for us, that financially we know where we stand, but we don't want to compromise what we've built. So again, we've tried to find ways not necessarily to shut down the business entirely, at least not for an extended period, but rather to repurpose these resources and refocus these resources on new business opportunities that we think not only can we scale now, but that we can maintain and develop even in a BAU setting.
Alright. So, hindi lang business, talagang financial. It's about yung pag nakikita mo, the plan, it may be, you may have, alam mo, hindi lang naman sa mga nakikinig sa atin, viewers natin ngayon, kahit na sigurong anong magandang business continuity plan meron tayo, pero it will really be challenged given with the situation, iba-iba talaga nangyayari. So it may be very good to have a framework, tama yon, financial and then business operation. So long as we're adapting to it and we're facing the challenge, I think will be good, diba, for our businesses. Parang ganun siya. Okay, can I pose the last question, guys? The last question would be, what are opportunities na pwede explore? Ano yung mga opportunities that we can explore at this time to improve our businesses? Meron bang mga opportunities that you're looking at? Merong nakikita kanina, si Dennis have started with it. Nakita niya parang yung sa online na grocery, Dennis, Yeah. So, meron pa bang mga opportunities na nakikita natin o pwede pa natin gawin? Richard, any opportunities at these trying times for businesses?
Yeah, I think there's plenty of opportunities, and like I said earlier, what some of the things we're looking at in the future, and I think at the same time within an organization, how do we look at things? I think Martin's mentioned financials, so you stress test certain things, look at cash flow, some of those logical things, and reassess maybe your partnerships with your vendors, and some maybe areas we can have cost control or do things different from a productivity standpoint. So I think if you're looking internally in that respect, there's always going to be a lot of opportunities to figure out different ways to do things and do things better in a more efficient manner.
Martin, opportunities.
Yeah, I think ultimately opportunities are really a function of consumer need, right? And what I would challenge, I think, everyone on the stream to consider is how have our needs evolved in this time, right? I think ultimately government has to meet us halfway here somewhere, especially in terms of opening up e-commerce again. I can't stress the point enough that the more bikes that we have on the road, the more people don't need to be outside, and that's something that I feel very, very strongly about. Empirically, we've also seen this be a big part of the recoveries, economic recoveries, and effectiveness of the quarantine impositions in a couple of other markets, as in China and I think Malaysia has also made this a key watchword for them. So not just looking at the needs of our consumers, but maybe the needs of markets that are a little bit further along in terms of their COVID experience, right? How have their needs evolved and how have businesses adapted to address those needs, right? I think you're seeing some natural evolution of this already. You mentioned the restaurant industry earlier, Paulo, and that's a big part of it, right? And Richard was saying about how his friend who owns restaurants is now doing a substantial part of their business out of this one takeout window, right? The restaurant industry, partially because food has stayed so open, has been one of the fastest to adapt to this digital evolution, right? Of being able to stay connected to consumers and adapt their business model entirely to a direct-to-consumer kind of delivery-centric model, right? Whether through in-house or through third-party delivery channels. So,
all right, Dennis.
Yeah, again, opportunities, yes, marami, no. For the last 2 weeks, I've been sitting down and thinking, wanna be depressed or I wanna be thinking positive, no? But well, I found out na maraming opportunities, no? Sa mga nakikinig niyan or nanonood, huwag kayong mag-alala. Make use of this 2 weeks or another 2 weeks. Think of something, adjust, adapt. So, huwag matakot, no? Again, they mentioned that yung restaurant, diba? Lahat ng delivery niya sa food sa restaurant, no? it's a last mile, but remember, we also do delivery to the commissary. Then, so something that we learned that we can also deliver last mile or the B2B na hindi sa area namin. No? So we learned a lot from this situation.
Alam nyo, ang daming takeaways to. If I may summarize, 5 key takeaways that we have discussed. Mag-iisang oras na tayo, guys. Akala natin na ang isipan lang din yan. No? Pero if I may summarize 5 for our viewers, 1 would be adaptability. Parang it's a common for all of us that we need to adapt, di ba? Parang we need to innovate, creative ways of thinking of kung paano. That's 1, adaptability. Pangalawa is yung transition. Yung transition. Kasi it may be just 3 weeks. But then again, yung transition na immediately kung paano tayo makakagalaw, kung paano tayo magta-transform, kung paano natin aayusin yung business model natin, nandun pa rin siya. Pangatlo, find ways. Di ba? Parang viewers, ito po yung isang pinag-uusapan natin, hindi porket dumating yung sitwasyon na ganito, wala na tayong gagawin. We can always look for finding ways to develop our business model. Hindi pwedeng nakaupo na lang tayo, nanunood tayo. Parang sabi ko nga dito, parang hindi pwedeng spectator lang tayo eh. We need to be the player who will play the game and win the game, right? I'm sure our gentleman here agrees. Sumunod, opportunities. Di ba? Sabi nyo, ang daming opportunity. Ito nga sinasabi ko, it's always about C2C. Crisis can turns to cash. Alam nyo, C2C, ibig sabihin, in any crisis, there would be, and it could be translated to cash. Meaning to say, it may be another business model, it may be a tweaking of your existing business model, or totally bagong modelo ng negosyo o bagong negosyo, complementing negosyo with what we have. And then lastly, ito yung lagi kong sinasabi nga, the changing normal. Make abnormal normal. Ibig sabihin, sa panahon ngayon, it may not be normal. Abnormal sa ating situation, but then again, sooner, the changing normal, e-commerce, yung last mile deliveries, diba, changing of times, the buying habits, the consumer preferences, magbabago at dadami. And I think the key here is about the innovation, the adaptability, and facing our fear. No, diba yung anxiety and fear laging nandyan, diba? Tama, guys? Ito yung mga takeaways that we wanted. Now, just to wrap up things, maybe just quickly, Richard, Dennis, and Martin, can you say something just to last word for this session?
Yeah, sure. I think you mentioned the word the new normal. I think the thing to me is the flexibility, communication, open-minded, and we'll get through this.
All right. Thank you, Richard. Dennis.
Well, okay, so again, don't be afraid. No, try to be resourceful. Try to think of something outside of the box, and please stay safe. No, stay home so that matapos na tong lockdown natin para hindi na ma-extend. Ingat kayo lahat.
Martin.
I think what I would encourage everyone is, also to take some courage here. This is something that the nation will make it through. I think we're seeing that things are getting better. And ultimately, I think that confidence will translate again in terms of economic benefit, right? We have to find a way to keep our economy going. Ultimately, the Philippines isn't a rich country, unfortunately. There are a lot of daily wage earners that are relying on businesses to be able to operate. The more that we can find ways to empower that layer of the economy, I think the better that we'll exit this COVID experience.
Thank you also. Very good words, everyone. Just stated. I hope to see you offline also. Hindi lang ngayon tayo magkikita-kita dito.
Sure.
Now, just to wrap up things, ang dami natin mga viewers. Yun nga, sabihin na natin mga viewers all over. We have viewers from Cebu City, from Binangonan. Shout out lang muna tayo sa lahat ng nakinig sa atin ng isang oras na to. Though it may be bitin for some sa mga viewers natin, but at least nakikita natin sila. Diba, ang dami sa community ngayon. Ang daming tanong. In fact, maraming tanong. Hindi lang natin So we have Marinduque here from Bataan and coming here from Bataan also. From Zamboanga, from Rizal, from Parañaque. And so many guys, so many are viewed ngayong hapon na to. Kasi nga, yung logistics talaga, napaka-critical at importante lagi sa pinag-uusapan natin. So yan, I also wanted to greet, syempre yung aking VCargo family, also similar with Ninja Van Mover and LBC. Talagang yung mga team din namin nandun, nasa frontline din. Talagang lahat ng safety, lahat ng ginagawa naman natin all for our companies para tuloy-tuloy economy that we wanted to see na tuloy-tuloy pa rin siya, the medicine, the perishable goods, dapat dire-diretso pa rin siya. VCargo family, to my family ngayon, they're watching Tibig family here in Bataan, lahat kayo nandyan, and all over the Philippines. Yung mga taga-go-negosyo, ako kagabi pa lamang gusto magpa-shoutout niyan. Janina, Eugene, and PA, tapos Roan, Amy, ang dami-dami lang, Aaron. Now, just to wrap up everyone, to our viewers, huwag kalilimutan mag-comment ng inyong mensahe at mga aral na natutunan mula sa ating mga go-negosyo mentors ngayon. Maaari kayong magkaroon ng chance na ma-feature, again, sa ating go-negosyo comment of the day, use the hashtag MentorMeOnline at Free Negosyo Mentorship. So, isa lang announcement kasi napaka-critical nito to help fight yung COVID-19 outbreak in the Philippines. Cortex, a subsidiary of Concepcion Industries Corporation, just announced the launch of WeCare, We Connect, Act, and Respond to Emergencies, a non-profit emergency response platform that connects individuals or groups willing to donate resources to emergency and support organizations such as hospitals that urgently require assistance in times of crisis. Yan. The platform is 100% free and now open for pledges and requests. Let's help our medical frontliners in their fight against COVID-19 by pledging the much-needed resources. Register now at www.wecare.ph and join their FB page. O yan, everyone, subaybayan natin ang ating susunod na Mentor Me Online. Samahan niyo po kami lagi, no, tuwing Lunes hanggang Biyernes, 11 o'clock ng umaga at alas 3 ng hapon para matuto mula sa makabuluhang usaping tungkol sa pagnenegosyo at sa mga susunod pang araw. Everyone, Richard, Dennis, Martin, maraming salamat sa inyo. I hope this have helped also our Filipinos. Maraming takeaways na ibahagi ninyo. Dito pa lamang ang Go Negosyo together with all Joey Concepcion and the rest of our community is also wishing everyone, di ba, na talagang sana all is well at maging mabuti na ang lahat para tuloy-tuloy na rin ang pagnenegosyo natin, tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung takbo na ekonomi natin at tuloy-tuloy yung mga tao natin na maging maayos sa mga susunod pang mga araw. Maraming salamat sa inyo. Muli, ito po ang inyong moderator for the day, Paulo Tibig, ang inyong Go Negosyo Mentor at yung Mentor Me Online, and nagsasabi sa inyo magandang hapon, magandang araw, at sooner, hopefully, bayang Pilipinas, maging maayos na po tayong lahat. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Martin, Dennis, and
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
For the few. And focused on the sector that is the most challenging is the agri-sector.
Agriculture and agribusiness have played and continue to play an important role as a driver for social and inclusive growth and true agriculture-related value-adding activities.
Since 2016, the Office of the Presidential Advisor for Entrepreneurship has helped our agripreneurs achieve success and bring about prosperity for all. Now, marking its 15th year, Go Negosyo, together with the Department of Agriculture, in partnership with Shopee, go even further to revolutionize the agri-sector and empower our rice farmers in this age of digitalization. Introducing the Magri app, an online free-for-all rice market. Magri allows consumers to search and buy produce directly from nearby local rice farmers. Users can also view updates on rice suggested retail price and seasonal item demands. Magri is an innovative tool that promotes inclusive and sustainable growth. And together, we will rise for the Filipino rice farmers.
Agri is really the game changer. It is the solution to the biggest problem in this country, poverty.
I believe that by unity, cooperation, and hard work, we shall achieve our aspiration for our country. Let us work together to realize our hopes and dreams for our people and nation.
The Magri app. Download now.